Alright guys, welcome to our Module 2 review. So after we take our review this morning, you are going to be taking your test. You're going to be taking your test over rounding to the nearest 10 and 100. You're going to be doing some addition and subtraction using your place value charts in the standard algorithm. You're going to be going over time, which is something we haven't talked about for a little while. So we're going to review some problems for that today. You're going to be talking about units of measurement, so measuring things in grams and kilograms and liters and milliliters. So we're going to take some time to review some of these topics this morning before you take your test. At any point while you're taking your test, you can always come back to this video, or you can also reference the notes you take while we're going over our review. So you don't have the problems in front of you, but you can use a blank piece of paper to write along with me. Now you don't need to write the entire problem out, but I would write out the work that you're doing to solve. Okay, so we're going to go over these problems together. So this problem says the Jordan family traveled 678 miles on their family vacation. Round this number to the nearest 100. Okay. So 678, and remember when we write kind of that wavy equal sign, that means rounding to. So 678, we're rounding to the nearest 100. When we round to the nearest 100, what place value do we look at? We look at the tens place. We have a 7 in the tens place. Okay, and remember our rule, if it is 5 or bigger, we round up. If it is 4 or less, we round down. So if the number in the tens place is 1, 2, 3, or 4, you round down. If it is 5, 6, 7, 8, or 9, you round up. If you need to, you can write that on your paper. So that means we're rounding up to the nearest 100. Well, then we have to decide 678. What two hundreds is that number in between? 678. If I saw that on a number line, what 100 would come before 678? So we're having two numbers that end in 2 zeros because they're hundreds. Okay, well, what would come first is 600. The next would be 700. So we're looking at the 200s that are sandwiching that number together. So 678, if we're rounding up, that means we're going to round to the bigger 100, which is 700. So 678 rounds up to 700. Let's move on to the next one. Indian Creek Elementary School, that place sounds familiar, has 342 students. Round this number to the nearest 10. Okay, so this is a little bit different than the last problem. So we have 342. And we need to round that to the nearest 10. When we round to the nearest 10, do we still look in the tens place? No, when we're rounding to the nearest 10, we look in the ones place, but the rule stays the same. 5 or greater, we round up. 4 or less, we round down. But now, if we look at 342, we are not looking at which hundreds are on either side. We're looking at which tens. Okay, so these numbers are only going to end in 1 0 because a 10 only has 1 0 in it. So what two tens are on each side of 342? We would have 340 and 350. Okay, and the number in our ones place is 2, meaning it is less than 4. So I'm going to round down to the smaller 10, which is 340. Okay, good job. Let's keep going. What is 68 rounded to the nearest 10? 68. Okay, well, I know if I'm rounding to the nearest 10, I look in what place? The ones. And then once again, we know our rule. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, we round up. 4, 3, 2, 1, 0, we round down. Okay, well, this number has an 8 in it, meaning we're rounding up. But we have to figure out what two tens 68 is in between. Okay, so I know both of these numbers will end in 0. Okay, let's think about that. What two tens is 68 in between? We have 60. Then if we count another 10 up, that would be 70. So 68 would round up to 70. Great job, guys. Okay, I think we have, one more rounding question. What is 710 rounded to the nearest 100? Okay, so we're back to rounding to the nearest 100. 710. Okay, rounding to the nearest 100, we look in the tens place. Okay, so 1 is 4 or below, so that means I'm going to be rounding down. But we need to know what I'm rounding down to. So 710. What 200s is 710 in between? Well, I know it's really darn close to 700. It's only 10 away. But what would the next 100 be? If 700, then 800. Okay, but I know it's rounding down, so 710 rounds down to 700. Great job, guys, with that rounding. Okay, now we're going to move on to something we've done more recently, which is addition. Okay, so this is the standard algorithm. We're going to go ahead and draw our place value chart. You guys have been doing great with these. Okay, we're going to start by building 457. So I have 7 ones, I have 5 tens, 4 hundreds. Okay, and with addition, we do write both of the numbers. In subtraction, we only do the first one, but in addition, we do them both. So now we have to do 168. So I have 8 ones, 6 tens, and 100. All right, so now we're going to add these numbers together. We always start in what place? The ones. Okay, so we're going to see. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 ones. So we can definitely make 10 out of that. So let's circle our 10. Making sure I have 10 here. Okay, then I'm going to turn those 10 ones into 110. And how many ones do I have left over? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's show that in our standard algorithm. So in my ones place, I end up with 5. And then I'm going to add 1. But it doesn't just represent 1, it represents 110 because it's in the tens place. Okay, now let's add our tens together. So I have total 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I can definitely make 10 out of those. Just making sure I have 10. Okay, so I'm going to turn those 10 tens into 100. And then I have 2 tens left over. Okay, let's show that in our standard algorithm. So in our tens place, I ended up with 2 tens left. Okay, then I carried 100 over. All right, so now all we have left to do is add in our hundreds place. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 hundreds left. So 457 plus 168 is 625. Very good job with that. Now, if some of you have noticed that you prefer doing just the standard algorithm, that is fine as long as we're getting the correct answer. Okay, but I like the place value chart helps you. Definitely do the place value chart. Okay, so this was the first part of our review. We're halfway through. You guys have done fantastic. So we're going to go ahead and just take a break. We're going to let our brains take a break. So I'm going to stop the video and then I'm going to start a new one. So go ahead and go to Seesaw, and I've given you a few choices for a brain break to choose. Okay, so go ahead and do some stretching, take some deep breaths, follow the brain break, get a drink of water if you have a water bottle, and then come back when you're ready for part 2.